In part two of my conversation with Sarah Cahill, we talk about what we all can learn from kids. Also, Sarah shares her perspective of the time when she wound up Eat Like Apes and what she'd learned from that. And not only that, the inspiration behind Sarah's book, Elsie's Arabian Adventures. We find out where that came from. Sarah speaks about the benefits of exploring with kids and giving them the time to be curious about the world, teaching them breath work and meeting kids where they are at. The opportunities for us to learn from children is endless. So here is part two with Sarah Cahill. There's so much I want to get through with you as well, and I'm kind of conscious that you also from what was the stage after Eat Like Apes? What came next?
There was a bit of a pause after Eat Like Apes. So when I got to the point where, like that, I was setting it up. Brian was overseas. I remember he came home and he was on leave, and he just spent his whole leave making and packaging protein and getting them out to the different stores with me. But we moved house then, and we had a big investment, into that. And like all things, you cut your cloth, and you make decisions, and the decision was the family, obviously.
Was that
and
tough?
and also,
Was that a tough decision?
it's never really tough when it's for the benefit of your family. Yeah, there's a bit of personal kind of like grief that you kind of, oh God, if I had kept going now, where could that be? But you have to be realistic as well. The food market is a tricky market. It's difficult, it's competitive, and stuff goes out of date, and supermarkets won't pay for it if it doesn't sell. So there's lots of other factors that I had to bring in, and the right choice was to wind it up at that time. And because I felt if I had gone further and outsourced or gotten an investor, then you see you're not working for yourself anymore either.
Yeah.
And that was always at the back of my mind. My whole ethos is really working around us. So I have to be here to drop the girls to school and collect them, and bring them to their after school. They're the priority. And not that I'll slot in and I mean, I'm given lots of space to do what I want to do, and if I need extra time, again, I have the backup there to call in the cavalry to give me the dig out. But yeah, it was the right thing to do to wind it up at the time. And I took a little bit of a break away, which was nice as well. Sometimes, when you stop something and you take a step back, you can see the bigger picture as well.
Yeah.
Because when you're in the thick of it, you don't see the wood from the trees. You don't. And what you're doing, right or wrong, you're still plowing, but the step back can give a perspective.
It's very interesting, as I've spoken to a couple of entrepreneurs on this platform, and what is interesting is that when they do take a step back, they don't realize how much they may have missed out in certain things, and you hear about it with a lot of entrepreneurs who are really successful in a public life, that they get to 50 or 60 or whatever, and they've reached wherever they wanted to get to, but they've missed out on so much of memories and moments and times that they can't replace. And I think what's interesting is those who you can't get that time back, right? So you having taken that step back to step away and to see the bigger picture, you remove the blinkers, and you got to spend incredible time with your family and got to grow up with the girls a little bit and got to see how they acted. But that gave you opportunity then as well to go on and create something else, because you have that drive in you, that kind of doggedness. You're kind of going, hold on, what's next? Okay, I'm hungry now again, let's go. And interesting, it would be I'd love to hear about what the next, what happened next after. What was your next kind of your latest endeavor?
Yeah. Well, look, I have to give credit to the girls, because they're like, just when they arrived in, I mean, they're just the most massive motivators for me. I'm so passionate about, uh, they're so innocent and so wonderful, and their questions just drive me to think, God, you're right, we need to learn more about that, or we need to look into that more. And you really want to be able to, I mean, God knows what they're going to ask you, and it's normally at the top of their voice in the middle of a busy supermarket. But you know but yeah, they just motivated me massively, and they're learning, obviously. Everything's new: walk, crawl, walk, run,
Yeah.
climb. And I'm seeing that, and I'm going, yeah, you're right, what's next? Okay. So the girls love to play and climb and crawl, and for me as well, I suppose, with the background in childcare and Montessori and special needs, I really see the benefits of giving kids, your time, and getting down on the floor and playing with them and having conversations with them and exploring with them. So I had gone back briefly to work as a special needs assistant. In a preschool, and I was working with a boy, and we would take some time out and we would go away and do some exercises. And I suppose because I enjoyed yoga and I was, dabbled a bit myself, I was doing it. And from my rugby playing days, I the warm up stuff and the training and things like that, you they all come back to you, and you're kind of doing them. And I thought, and he really improved, his strength really improved. And then I was doing it a bit more with the girls here at home, and they were really enjoying it. And actually, breath work, I'm really passionate about breath work. I think it's just one of those underrated things that we carry with us everywhere. And it's such a magnificent tool that we can use at any time to help to ground ourselves, whatever the situation that we find ourselves in, good, bad, or indifferent. And I saw the benefits of that with the girls, because they've got their mommy's temper. And I could see it. I could see them taking the minute, some of the times, to take a breath and go, okay, and that's so. Anyway, along came children's yoga. I kind of thought, what, this wouldn't it be great if there was kids yoga? I was actually on and on at a friend of mine to do it. She's a yoga, and she said, I can't do everything. She said, you go do it and teach, out with me. And I said, all right, okay. So I looked at it, and I found a children's yoga course, and I signed up for like a 3-day intensive kind of training, and I loved it. But I felt I needed to learn more. I always want to give everything my best. So, I want to learn as much as I can.
Yeah.
And so then I went on a couple of months later and did a 5-day, 7-day, kind of intensive one again. And that really deepened my knowledge a bit more. So after that one, I then set up and started running the kids yoga. And again, I could do it as an after school. So the girls could be with me as well. So it worked around us.
Loved it, yeah, because it's something that I would have loved to have had when I was a kid, to kind of understand that type of
And
kind of
the wonderful
training or
thing about it
breathing.
is, because some parents have said to me, oh, my kids are too high energy, for yoga is, too relaxing and stuff like that. But actually, kids yoga is playful yoga. So I mean, you're doing down dog, but you're also walking around the room barking. I mean, it's fun. It's
Yeah,
playful. There's games. You're playing.
it's not
You're
the
playing childhood games.
namaste zen stuff that you'd normally get.
Nobody is sitting still. And if anybody knows that, it's me, because mine, like, they have springs in their feet. They're always up and they're always talking, and it's always all go. So, it has to be next with kids yoga, and you just have a million ideas. You have a plan, and then you go in with your plan, and then just get ready to throw it out the window.
Yeah,
So I always say you've got to meet kids where they're at. So if they're a little bit low, then we might start the class a little low, and then adjust accordingly. But that's more about the classes. But anyway, yeah. So yeah,
but
the kids yoga.
what kind of advice would you give to parents, though, as well, as you say, like, who think that, who maybe just don't experience it? Because I think kids yoga is probably relatively new as a
Yeah.
trend. Is it, or has it been around for a long time?
Stephen, it's probably been around, but it's becoming more popular. It's becoming one of those more popular after school activities. You'll see it popping up, but no, it hasn't. It's not massively.
And would it be like kids from as soon as they're kind of walking, or they have to be a certain age, or what? What way does it work?
Yeah, no, I mean, you can start them at like, you can start doing, little yoga movements with them yourself and their babiys,
Yeah,
right
yeah,
up to toddler, and then that's kind of different. That's more about singing songs and having puppets
yeah,
and moving that way, and then you move into the next stage and the next stage, and you see it now with my girls who are 8 and 9, and depending on the 8 and 9 year olds, they can be a little bit too cool for the kind of even the yoga that I might be doing some days. So you
yeah.
need to
It's funny, isn't
up
it,
your game again.
when you see some photographs of people and they're doing their press ups or their yoga or something, and the little kid beside them, and they're trying to
Yeah,
do all the movements as well. But like that's the start of it, right?
yeah, that's it exactly. Yeah, yeah, and you know, no one better positioned than kids to. I mean, sure, they're like elastic bands. It's
Yeah,
great for them. They can do it, and as they say, use it or lose it.
yeah,
So keep it up as much as you can throughout. It's
I
not,
love it. Yeah, and
yeah.
so from that, um, you didn't stop there, right? So like the Play Like Apes obviously was founded, and you were playing like an ape with the
Yeah,
kids
well,
and
yeah,
enjoying life and getting down and dirty with them all. And then I remember getting a phone call off you, and you turned to me and you're like, "Do you know what? I'm gonna write a book. I'm gonna write a story." I'm like, "Huh? What are you doing?" So tell me about that and where that came from. Uh,
lockdown,
sorry,
lockdown madness.
Elsie's Arabian Adventure.
There it is.
Let's just say anybody who's looking for Elsie's Arabian Adventure, DM Sarah right now.
Yeah, yeah,
Get the promo in there, you know.
yeah. Yeah, so look again, like as you said, lockdown madness, really, isn't it? I mean, I was busy obviously during lockdown. I had the girls home, we were homeschooling, and I also had signed up to take on a play therapy course,
Okay.
an introduction into play therapy, which is a FETAC course, and yeah, there's lovely therapy. The section on therapeutic stories kind of was. I was like, that's really nice. I have a couple of ideas now for doing as part of the course a therapeutic story, and but it was really just listening to the girls. Again, when you stop and you listen, it's amazing really what you'll hear. They were out in the garden, and literally every sentence out of their mouths is, "You pretend you're so and so, and I'll pretend I'm our. Let's pretend this is that." And they were just all up in their heads and their imaginations, and just everything was fun, and it was just great to listen to. And yeah, I kind of just thought, God, it'd be great to write them a story, to write a story, about them, with them as the characters, kind of, and at the heart of it as well, I really wanted to look at anxiety, because that we've two deep thinkers. One even, in different ways. They're both deep thinkers. One, you might say, a little bit more than the other, but they just approach things differently. But warriors, and we had obviously with COVID. I mean, and kids are brilliant and kids are resilient, but they still worry, and they still have concerns. And we've had tears with, "We don't want you to die, and we don't want to die." And we're careful again. We try not to really let them hear the news too much. Not age appropriate, kind of. So we might explain things as they're happening and stuff like that, but not necessarily listening to news reports and stuff like that. But still, they're picking it up.
Mm.
And yeah, so I kind of found, like, doing little, again, the breathing and getting out and playing and creating with them and stuff like that helped. So, but anxiety is something I think we can sometimes still be a bit dismissive with kids, because we kind of go, "Yeah, they're resilient, they'll be grand, that this won't affect them or won't bother them," but it really, really does. And different kids in different ways, and some kids more than others. So it was just something that I wanted to kind of address in the book in a small way as well. Was through using expressions, because we're Irish, we have an expression for everything and everyone, and something to say about everything. And but I wanted to kind of bring in the saying side, because I was reared on sayings. Everyone had, mom had an answer for everything in some sort of an expression or a saying way,
You're a bit famous for your different sayings and repeating certain phrases, aren't you, Sarah?
Mostly I get them wrong. So I was heavily edited for this because I'm one of those people who says things and gets them always muddled. And I tell jokes, I tell the punchline before but the joke. But so little things like that. So originally the story started off as Close as Crocodile to the Boat, because that is something that Brian would always say to me as well, when I'm working on projects and stuff like that, and I kind of want to get everything done, and I'm trying to keep on top of everything. He would just say, close as crocodile to the boat, meaning what's the biggest thing that needs to be sorted out at this very moment, and then just worry about that, and then move on to the next crocodile and the next crocodile, and so on. And it started off as a picture story. And once I sat to write it, again, I was lucky. I found that there was, again, like I was like, I'm going to write this book, and it's going to be great. And then it's like, oh, who's going to illustrate it, and where would I get it published, and how would I go about doing this, that, and the other? So like that, you can only do so much yourself. So I researched and looked in, and luckily enough, another local author here in Kildare was running a course to write your own children's book, a 6-week course. And I love a deadline, because that motivates me as well, to start and finish something. Otherwise, especially writing a book could really, you could drag it out over years if you wanted to. So it chopped and changed, and it eventually became more of a short chapter book. And Elsie, who is actually a combination of Ellen and Lucy, the two girls' names, was supposed to be just one character, and she was a mash of the two of them. But then they morphed out. So I kept Elsie and I threw in a Nellie, which is so that's basically kind of the two girls. And Ellen, she gives people the book, and she goes, open page, whatever. I'm famous now.
Yeah. And Milani as well, I believe, is the surname, huh?
Yes, my nana's maiden name. Yeah, absolutely. Another inspirational, person for me in my life as well. Yeah, Nana.
So it is interesting though that your theme though for the book is obviously sounds like it's obviously the idea is born out of the kids and listening to the kids and kind of taking a little bit of understanding of what they're going through and then trying to teach others how to manage anxiety. Obviously the theme for this one is anxiety, and Elsie goes on her Arabian adventure, which is fantastic because what I love about it is that it's opening up the world to Elsie and to kids that they may not have kind of considered before, but in what's the takeaway that you'd love for people to kind of leave having read the book?
Well, I suppose the real thing would be talk to your friends, talk to your family, talk to your kids. If there's ever anything going on, talking is key in helping any of us. And then again, it's a kid's adventure as well. So, but also the cultural side of it. So they visit Dubai. There's references, to the language, the Arabic language, and some Arabic food, because obviously my passion for food is still very much there. So, educate, as well, very much at the heart of this, educate, offering kids the offer, because the opportunity, because our island is growing and we have so many new and diverse cultures now living here, that it's important that our kids understand other cultures. And
and like you look at Ireland has a diaspora of about 76 million, so like we've got people all over the world and we've gone and infiltrated all the other countries and cultures and stuff. So
Absolutely.
now the fact that we're here in Ireland and that we've got so many different cultures and identities and stuff coming in to the country, it's important to be open and be accepting and to understand others, you know. And you can only do that by listening and talking, right?
Absolutely. And I mean, you know, our next generation, is always our opportunity to get it right, you know. So, you know, and to offer, like, to teach them what we might not necessarily have learned, you know, about different religious holidays, and, you
Yeah.
know, traditional food, traditional clothing, anything, you know, all of these, you know, things that are not day in day out, you know, but they're there.
Yeah, and I think the what I would take from that is because it's different doesn't mean it's wrong, you know, and because it's
Yeah,
different doesn't mean you should turn away from it. Just different is okay, you know, and different allows you to be inquisitive and be curious about it and to try ask the questions and to understand. And I think if you encourage kids to do that at a young age, to be curious and to ask questions and to be like welcoming and all that, that'll stand to them for the rest of their life because you're setting the kind of the foundation blocks. Now, I don't have kids, all right, and you know that, but I have in the girls, like, incredible, um I suppose friends is what we've become, as well as uncles and whatever and nieces and stuff, but we've
yeah,
become really, really brilliant close friends. And I think they know that if anything ever they wanted me, that I'm there for them. Like, I think they're aware of that even at this young age. But um what I love to when I do get to see them is that they're always inquisitive. They're always asking me, what am I doing, where am I going, and what news have I gotten, like, where are you living and who you meeting and all these things. They love it because
yeah,
they're interested in my life. And I think that interest then kind of is comes across then in their friendships with their family and with their friends and stuff, because they're actually interested. That's probably why they talk all the time.
good. And do they talk? But you're right. But now, like, we have it, you know, they're coming up. Everything is new to them. It's our responsibility as their guardians to expose them to, you know, all of this, you know, in a positive light. And as you said, not good, bad, or indifferent. Just they are who they are. We are who we are. You know, and it opens them up. They're more tolerant. You know, they get it. It's not shock and all, you know.
Yeah,
They're very aware of things more so than we ever would have been growing up, you know.
yeah,
I mean, even with all of the news, and whether it be Donald Trump or Black Lives Matters, or, you know, they're tuning into all this, and they're asking why, you know.
yeah,
And you've got to be prepared to answer them, and give them good foundations, you know, again, age appropriate, but, you know, to let them know what's going on in the world, and that there's a lot of injustice and how privileged they are.
yeah,
I'm very, very passionate about letting them know how privileged really they are, for their education, to the, you know, the clothes that they want to wear, to the places that they can go, and the travel that they can, you know, hopefully go back to taking sooner as they grow, you know. That it's important that they understand that not everybody lives the way that they live, you know.
yeah,
And again, that this might introduce and open up the questions in families,
yeah,
you know, and
yeah.
let the conversation start. It's a conversation starter, you know. Why would, like, because at the back of the book I have in referencing what the hijab is, you know, what, you know, so why different cultures do, you know, so it starts the conversations.
And tell me, why did you start with the Arabian adventure? Why wasn't it an adventure to Lanzarote? Like,
Yeah, honest to God, yeah, yeah. That's where I wanted to go. Well, I suppose, again, going back to my military roots, really, I suppose, since I was less than a year old, my dad was gone overseas to serve in Lebanon, and uh, as years go on, and he did, I don't know how many trips overseas out there, and then in 2005 he moved out there for a year and didn't come home for 12 years. So the Arabic culture is very much now a part of our family, you know. And So we really only ended up in Dubai because Elsie, aka Lucy, is absolutely horse mad, and it just made sense to go to Dubai really as opposed to Lebanon, you know. But I still wanted to include the Arabic side to it, and the picture of the souks and some of the pictures and things like that are actually from the souks, you know, in the town where mum and dad lived back in the day. But yeah, so
Lovely.
major Arabic
So
influences in this house,
this
yeah.
this won't be the last adventure, I hope.
No, I'm hoping that Elsie will. I'm working on another little project at
Of
the
course you
moment.
are. Can you
My
tell us? Is
brain
this going to
just
be an
goes,
exclusive? Is it?
yeah, an exclusive, yeah. Well, I've just finished up what I'm working on, and it's I need someone to edit it. You can be getting an email later, and
Yeah, no problem.
yeah, and Elsie's African adventure is where I'm hoping to head next,
Okay.
because again, even here in Kildare, I mean, um, we have, you know, so many. I can't think of the name of the word now. Gosh, not resource, the hotels, Steve.
The
With
whole. Oh, and direct provision.
yes, absolutely, yes,
Yeah,
yeah. I think it's,
yeah,
you know, and again, speaking to the girls and how privileged they are and stuff like that. So, you know, the culture, again, I think it's really important that they understand the culture, where people are coming from, and how they got here and why they're here, you know, and all these things I think are really, really important, you know.
yeah. I think you're dead right. It's actually interesting that you say that, because I've got a lady coming on the podcast, and she's from Kenya, but she's going to talk to me about the human rights issues that are going on in Kenya at the moment, and the challenges that are there for girls growing up. You know, so that'll be quite interesting.
Yeah.
But I think you're dead right, because there's so many elements of the world that I suppose they're so far away that we don't actually kind of consider them, like the Arabian adventure, and for others Africa as well. So it'd be great to get a context of that rather than just going to Spain or over to Portugal or whatever, you know.
Yeah, but there are other European countries as well, and there's probably, you know,
Yeah,
certain,
yeah,
but
yeah,
it's really beyond that, and to explain to them, you know, where these people who are living in our town are coming from, you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
and as I said,
Give a
their
bit of
journey,
historical
and
context. Yeah,
yeah, I mean, but again, they're going to be asking why are they living there, and you know, I think
yeah.
we'll all have a lot to answer for in a few years when it
We
comes
will.
to that. But anyway, you
Tell
know, I
me,
think that's for another.
tell me this. I do ask this quite a lot, and the responses are quite varied and different. But if you had the opportunity to leave a message, or to write on a piece of paper a message that you could share with everybody, what would that message say?
Yeah. Do you know, in the, I'm losing my words now. The dedication for the book, in the dedication part, because it's dedicated to the book, you know, to the girls, and Brian, mum and dad, my supporters. But is a quote from A. Malign. I think I'm saying that right. But you're braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think. You know, and I think that covers a lot of different bases. You know, give yourself a go. You know, believe in yourself. Trust yourself. You're stronger than you think, and you are smarter than you think. You know, it's easy to put yourself down or not try something, but you know, give it a go. Believe in yourself,
Yeah, I
and
love that. I think if everybody kind of went and approached life like that, they'll open the world up to so many different opportunities, and especially in the world that we're living in right now, where things are quite tricky and tough because of the lockdowns and pandemics and COVID and stuff. It's very hard to stay optimistic and stay focused. And I think it's a case of just remind yourself that, yeah, you are better than what you are, will go a long way, and that you can do whatever it is that you're aiming to do. And I think you're proof of the pudding as well, Sarah, in that approach, because you've gone and you've raised an unbelievable family. You've created a number of different entities in terms of businesses that have been born out of you with being willing to learn and to get down on the ground and play with the kids and get to listen and get to hear and talk to them. And I think it's a credit to you and what you're, I suppose, what you're about. So for me, I'm only thrilled to have you on board and to share this time with you and create this memory and have this to share with the kids as they grow up and they slag us when we get older and stuff. But
They're all flagging us. We
yeah,
are
no, yeah,
older.
exactly. But like,
We're
no,
ancient.
but genuinely, like these things, these kind of this project and this personal thing of mine is to share these moments with people that I care about and the people that inspire me, and you're definitely one of them. So thank you so much for being part of what makes you tick. I think we've definitely found out what makes you tick. You never know, we might make this a kind of like an annual thing. See what happens
Yeah,
next.
see where I am this time, 12 months. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not?
Well, listen, no,
Yes.
thank you so much for being on board. All right.
Thanks, Steve, and thank you for all of your support and the inspiration that you give me by you doing things like this and in your day to day. You're an inspiration as well.
You are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think. I really, really love those words. Sarah hit the nail on the head. Imagine saying those to yourself every day and believing it. Who knows what great things could happen? This world is pretty crazy, folks, with so much uncertainty, and what is certain, though, is the creativity and the imagination of kids. As we get older and more conditioned to life, we forget to let our inner child out. Look at the kids around you. They're not afraid to try, to fall, and then pick themselves back up and go again. Because it's in falling and failing that we learn our biggest lessons. If you'd like to reach out to Sarah, head over to her Instagram handle at PlayLikeApes. Until next time, everybody, stay up to date on all future episodes by hitting the subscribe option, or if you want to find out more, visit whatmakesyoutick.net.